All right, so we are live. Okay, let's get back to it. So, today we're going to talk about. I'm going to wrap up the second part of this video series of how to record videos in VueJS with the Ionic Framework, Capacitor, and Cordova plugins. As it turns out, I'm going to end up not doing it with Cordova plugins because of this issue which I found. So, the new way that storage is being handled in Android 10 and coming up on Android 11 is they're basically locking down external storage. You need permission to get access to this external storage. And as it turns out, the component that I used, sorry, it's the wrong one. The component that I used, this Video Capture Plus plugin, this plugin does not currently support the new API. So if you're on a later release, you can record the video, but you cannot read the video. And if you can't read the video, you can't really do anything positive with the video, so it kind of makes it useless. However, there is a hack that you can use for now to temporarily get access, which is, I'll include the link to this story in the comments, but if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can add this request legacy external storage equals true to your Android manifest, and it will allow you to get access. I don't know how much longer they're going to allow you to utilize this tag, but the tag can be used. I'm trying to find an alternate solution that doesn't require me to use this, because I haven't found anything that says that this will be good forever. So that's a long way to say that what I thought was going to be a really short, quick video, it ended up burning 2 days of my life trying to figure out how to address this issue, because my assumption was that these plugins that are here worked with Capacitor and Ionic, and that if there was an issue that it would be flagged as a compatibility issue, but these weren't flagged. So I learned my lesson. So now let's get to the code, since that's what you're all here for. And but before I get there, I want to say one last thing, which is, let's go to my YouTube channel, which is where everybody is. And where we are right now, we are at, let's pause this so it doesn't play. We are currently at 966 subscribers. I really would like to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the month. So please, if you are watching this or stop by or whatever, a thumbs up is great, but it'd be really great if you subscribed. All right, let's get to the code. Once again, I'm not going to type through this. I'm just going to walk you through the code that I built. We're going to see it running on a device, and we'll go from there. Source code will be available for you to get access to. So we are good to go. So you see we have the app running here on the phone, and the final objective here is that I want to be able to take a video. So let me see if I can get this working properly. So we click the button to take a video, and then it pops up. Let's take a video of me being a video. Here you go. Gotta hit start. So we can now record a video. Everything seems to be recording well. We stop the video. We use the video. And then as you can see, we got the nice animation across the top. It uploaded the video, and we have the results of where the video is stored in Firebase. So what we have done here is, for this example, what I've done is I have used the file input tag to load the video. So let's start at the top here. We're in VueJS. We have our nice Ionic components to get our page looking nice. We have this input tag. So what you can do with this input tag is you can specify that I want the input tag to be hidden. I want it to load files, and I can specify the video types that I want it to load. So, and then I'm indicating capture. So what that means is that when this button's hit, it will immediately load the video camera on your phone. So it gives you the illusion as if you click the button and you loaded the phone. Now, since I've hidden this, what I've done here is I have this nice looking button, which is what you're It's the nice looking button that you're seeing on the phone. It says take video. This, and I have a click event. So we scroll down here. What was that click event associated to? The click event on click we call open video, and on open video we do some document stuff. I could have used the views ref. This was some old code that I had that I just pulled together. So I'm doing a document get element by ID. So we get the hidden button, which has the ID open camera, and we send a click event to it. So the click event to that will then trigger the camera to open. So let's go back. The click event on the button will trigger the camera to open. You'll record your video. You do everything you want to do, and when it's done, it will call the set video function. Whenever it gets a new file, it will trigger a change event, which will call set video. And what we do inside of set video is we pull off the file that comes in from the event. In this example, we're using the FileReader, which isn't really what I wanted to do, but it's what we're doing for now. I'm using the FileReader. I create a FileReader. I handle the onload for when I get a file, file passed to it. This will read the file. And since my reader is converting it to an array buffer, I load in the file. It reads the file. The results of it is a byte array. I take the byte array, I pass it into a blob, and I have a blob. I get the file type from the original file, so I can set the MIME type of the blob, and then I call my hook. So in Vue, let me add a comment here. So Vue comp, also known as a hook. So what we do here is we basically have a hook, and hooks are, let me go back to my documentation. So I've covered hooks before. If you go into my Dev2 page here, you can see I have a whole series on using a Vue Composition API with Firebase. First, I give a quick overview of the Vue Composition API. Then I talk about integrating with Firebase, and like I said, for those who are read a lot about React hooks, it's similar to React hooks. It allows you to pull out reusable function, store it into separate files, and utilize them across your application. So what we've done here is we have taken all of the Firebase file upload functionality, and we've incorporated it into this upload data hook, or upload data Vue Composition API. And so what it does is whenever you pass it a blob, since it's reactive, it identifies you've passed it the new blob, and it will upload the blob and use the file name that's associated with it. This is a separate component that is just dropped into this function here. So if we go to the top, you see I just have use Firebase file upload. It can be used multiple places inside of your application. You just need to include the Firebase configuration, which I've done, and import this hook or helper in. The really cool thing is that right now this is done with the plugin for the older version of Vue, but the new version of Vue would be incorporated, and you can pull and separate out reactive functionality and really slim down your component. So if you see, all this component's really doing is responding to events, and based on the events, it's taking the appropriate action. All of the heavy lifting of Firebase and uploading it is all hidden inside of here. As you can see from kind of the IntelliSense that pops up here, it takes the file data, which is the blob, a name that's assigned to it, and then what it does is it returns these reactive variables. One is if there's an error, 2 is if it's loading, 3 is the progress, so what's going back and forth, and then 4 is the result data that I get back. These are all reactive, so what happens is they can just be placed inside of my template as if they were part of the data that I was using in the application. As you can see here, I'm using the progress value here, and then what I'm using error here. If there's an error, I'm using the loading, and then in the end, I'm taking the result data and stringifying it and rendering it. If you notice, you see none of them are here inside my data What happens is by loading this up inside my setup and then returning the values that I need, they get added to the data attribute, or data. They get added to the data attribute inside a Vue component. As you can see, this is just the destructuring of the parameters that I'm returning from my Vue Composition function. And then this is the actual upload data function that I'm using. So let's take a quick look inside of the use Firebase function. I have hidden my Firebase configuration to a separate file. So the source code will be available so you can download it. You just need to change the Firebase configuration to utilize it. My default path of where the files are being stored. I'm defining my state here and said it's a reactive. I tried my best to comment it to let you kind of know what's going on. So these are reactive variables that'll be passed back to the parent or whoever is using this function. As you know, for those who aren't familiar with Firebase, Firebase has a separate storage, which is separate from the database, and that's what we're using. So we get a reference to the storage, which is a variable outside, and then here we actually have the function that handles everything that's being called. We initialize my state, so we set my error and my loading. Here we set the progress value. Here we're creating a name based on the data that was passed in. So we take the time and the name that was passed in. I'm utilizing the extension so that I can identify the proper file type, because on Android it's video MP4. On iOS you get this .mov extension, and I want to make sure I properly set the file to QuickTime. With Firebase, since I'm just getting this blob data, I can just do a simple put of the data and specify the content type. And then Firebase gives you this upload task here, and the upload task will get called with various events. The one we're most interested in here is this state change event, because what we're going to do with the state change event, we're going to take the progress information. This is how we're determining the percentage value of how far along we are with the update. I'm setting it in my state and passing it back. And like I said, since it's reactive and I'm passing this value back, you'll see my progress bar change, which we'll walk through again. If there's any errors, in the end, we get the error, we set the error state, we set the loading to false, and we pass the error back. And then when the best part here is when we're finally complete in the end, we clear out the errors, we run another API call to actually get the URL, and then we set the resulting data back. Now all of this is done inside of this separate component. As I said, all the variables are reactive, so we get all the benefit as if I had this functionality inside my Vue component. But what we're trying to do really here with the Composition API is to kind of slim down these Vue components and take this logic that doesn't really belong in there out. And so that's what I've done with this file upload hook. Now, I've showed you basically how this thing works. For those who are still here, I will show you the other approach. The other approach is this this take video approach using the media capture plugin. This is what you saw in the first video. We got as far as just console logging out this content, and in the last couple of days I was working through this. I was trying to get this damn thing to work, and forever and ever and ever I could not figure out why it worked. And then that's when I found out about the Android 10 issue that I mentioned. So if you're just going to be an iOS, or if you want to use the manifest change to kind of get it to work in your Android application, this approach right here will do it for you. We capture the video as normal, and what we can do is we can use fetch here. So we can use fetch to get the video based on the full path, use the capacitor, convert file source to give us the appropriate URL that is needed. And then fetch will handle everything that I was doing up here with this FileReader. So fetch will take the URL, it will read the file, it will return it as a blob, and then I take the blob results, I pass it to my file upload data, and then I use the video name that was passed to me from the original video capture, and the upload works fine. I decided to leave both of these solutions in here for you, so you can take whichever one you want. And that's pretty much it. No, I I am once again using Ionic Capacitor. I am using a live reload, so I'll just show that to you guys one more time because this is without a doubt the best way to handle this. As you can see here, I'm just using the command Ionic Cap run iOS, live reload external, and then what you get is it will basically package. Well, since I'm running, I have my phone running so that I can get it into the video here. But basically, so that's why it's asking for this additional address. But basically, what this is doing, it is compiling all of my source code. It is running a completely separate web server, and it is modifying the JSON config. See, now we have Xcode running. Let's let this go, and in the background, it's modifying the config dot where is it? This capacitor config file, and it's inserted the it has inserted the URL and the IP address to the local files, to the local web server. And then what you can see is that here inside of my application, so let's run this guy again. And you'll see it when it gets launched, is that, come on, you can do it. Okay, it's packaging everything up. It's deploying to my phone. Capacitor's launching. And let me make sure we don't miss it. If we scroll back here, you can see here it's loading the app from my local web server as opposed to loading it from the device. So what this does is you can see my phone, and now because I have this ability for the live reload, I can go into my app view and I can start making changes, and the changes will get recompiled and deployed. So for example, take video, and change this title, take video please, and it will recompile, and it should push, and as you can see, the phone just changed, push the changes directly to the device. So it once again creates this amazing kind of round trip development for you, extremely efficient, and still get to stay in the environment that you're used to working in. So I'm going to kind of wrap it up there. Once again, please like and subscribe. Please also leave comments on things that you would like to see. I also want to add the warning once again, VueJS is still in beta for Capacitor. Ionic team is waiting for the official release of Vue before they go official with it. Use at your own risk. As I've said before, I'm using it on client accounts, but once again, don't be upset if you find a problem and they can't give you an answer for it. So, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please leave comments below. Link to the source code will be available. And thanks, and have a good night. Bye now.